All right, moving on to our next Patreon request, and this one comes from Alistair Bondman, who asked me to do a pretty unique video, basically talking about, like, all the pairings with, or who I think should end up with X-23. But as always, if you guys would like to have a Patreon request done, just hit the link in the description box below. Hit the link in the description box below, head on over to my Patreon, hit the 3rd tier, that'll allow you access to do so. But other than that, let's get started with the video. So, I'm gonna be honest, it's kind of weird, because, like, while I enjoy my ships in cartoons and anime, with comics, it's, like, kind of set. Like, there's always been, like, a set one, give or take a few. There's few where I'm, like, I kind of, like, it's always been, like, a set game for me when it comes to relationships. Like, you know, Peter Parker and Mary Jane, or Reed Richards and Sue, or Betty and Bruce. Bruce Banner, I'm referring to. Like Batman has so many. Like, you just kind of like see, you see so many. But I will say the one I like, if I'm being honest, it's Batman and Catwoman. Like, it's always been Batman and Catwoman. Though my girlfriend does prefer Batman with Bruce with Harley, which, not gonna lie, I can. Anyway, so, anyway, what was I doing? Oh yeah. So basically, Alistair asked me to do a video talking about, like, who I like seeing with X-23, which I gotta be honest, I've never really had a thing of, like, putting with anyone, because, like, Laura, that's not on her mind. Like, that's never been, like, a thing for her. At no point in her life is she like, you know, I gotta have a relationship, or I want to be in a relationship, because, like, she's always been kind of the mindset of, like, people get hurt, like, people die. I'm not just saying that as a mutant, I'm saying that as the clone daughter of Wolverine. If you have these claws, that means, like, you basically, you just gotta learn to be lonely. Like, you just gotta learn to, like, live with your found family, and that's really it. And that's about really all you have to, like, all I can say about the matter is that, and in a weird way, she's right. She's, like, if you're a member of the Wolverine family, chances are it's not gonna, relationships are not gonna be a viable option for you. Like, there's in no way, shape, or form a way you're going to, there's literally no way. There's no way you can have a viable relationship in this day and age as a Wolverine character, especially. Anyway, but let's talk about who I could see with Laura. Now, there is a few, and one of them did kind of try to have a relationship with her, and that's Helion. Helion, if you guys remember, was a powerful telekinetic. He was part of the Young X-Men, and was one of the closest to, like, get to Laura. Like, he was one of the closer ones. He had a bit of damage to him as well, and he was very of the mindset of, like, you know, you're not as dangerous as everyone makes you out to be. You know, he was very, like, Laura was very closed off when she was when she joined the new X-Men. So she was very of the mindset of, like, look, you're all gonna die, and she was kind of right, if I'm being honest. She was very open on the idea of, like, look, you guys are just gonna fucking die on me no matter what, so, why bother? But Helion was willing to, like, kind of have that kind of bleakness and turn it on her, because he did have that bleakness too, and he had that kind of, like, emptiness to him in some cases, but, he was very of the mindset of, like, well, if we're gonna die, might as well have some fun. So, yeah, Helion would probably be the closest to Laura. If I'm being honest, like, that would be the one, like, the first person I would have with Laura is Helion, because he probably made the most sense. As for others, I guess, like, if we're gonna say, like, who else could you see logically Laura dating? See, that's the problem, because, again, Laura's a very hard person to love. Not because she's just the clone daughter of Logan, but also the fact that she doesn't do that. She does, like I said earlier, she's not in that mindset of, like, wanting to have a relationship with anyone. If I was to pick one, though, and this one I might have to, like, explain a little harder. I'd maybe say actually, like, I can't really think of anyone. Like, it's really only been Helion who's really kind of who's really been of any kind of, like, closest to her outside of family. And don't say Dakin, that's technically her brother, that's gross. Don't say Dakin in the comments, please. They don't like they barely like each other as siblings, even when they were growing as, like, Logan was trying to raise them as son and daughter. They didn't like each other at all. Like, they've tried to kill each other multiple times, and were like, so don't say Dakin and Laura, because I know for a fact people, like, have that as a ship, is Dakin and Laura. When I'm like, so, how many of y'all from Alabama? But I guess, like, another one I could technically see, and you could kind of see where I'm coming from, is maybe Armor. Armor would probably, like, Hisako would work, if we were to, like, because Laura's, like, explained that, like, sexuality for her is just kind of, like, for her, so it's not like I'm pulling an Iceman or a Bendis and making Iceman suddenly bat for the other team out of nowhere. With Laura, we've had instances where she's, like, talked about, like, no matter to me. I just don't care. Like, that, like, it's not like it's a matter of, like, if it's a guy or a girl, it's just that she doesn't fucking operate like that. If anything, I would say Laura's ace. Like, Laura's probably, like, asexual. But that's never been confirmed. But again, going on that line of thought, I would say maybe Armor. But the thing is, like, it's more platonic, I think, like, between her and Armor, because those two work together well. I would also say because she's also close with, like, Dust, but that's, again, a platonic friendship. That was another young X-Man. She was the best friend for Laura, and I'm not saying shipping Dust with Laura at all. I'm just saying, like, if you were to, like, pick anyone else, it'd probably be, like, someone who also was close to her, which was Dust. But it's Helion. It's the that's the only one logical enough for me to work is Helion. So you guys tell me in the comments below, who would you ship in the with Laura in the Marvel universe? Because I'm just going with X-Men. But yeah, just tell me in the comments. No crossover ships. Also, just let's keep it in universe here. So yeah, once again, I'd like to thank Alistair Bondman for this Patreon request as well as continued patronage. Other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.